everyone. Welcome to another episode of our travel talk series on the Trip 101 YouTube channel. I'm Bianca, a content executive at Trip 101, and today I'm speaking to Sukanya, a licensed tour guide in Mumbai. Hi, Sukanya. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi Bianca. So nice to meet you.
Mhm.
My name is Sukanya Roy Chaudhary, and I am currently residing in Mumbai. I am a licensed tour guide for the city of Mumbai and the state of Maharashtra.
Mhm.
And I'm also a tourism professional where I am a visiting faculty. I teach travel and tourism to the students of Mumbai University. I teach bachelor course and I teach the master's course.
Okay, wow. It's really interesting that you're also teaching about tourism and travel. So I can tell that it's really a passion for you.
Absolutely. I
Mhm.
love it. As a subject, as travel and tourism, I have always loved it. When I was, as a student, when I was even studying, I always wanted to pursue this as a subject and as a career. And I never thought that it would end there.
Mhm.
And till date, I am constantly learning, and I'm learning about the cities, I'm learning about people, I'm learning about culture, I'm learning about so many new things, I'm learning about hidden gems of the city, hidden gems of the country. So, yeah, it's a lovely subject to be. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's really great. So I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of that information today as well. So I'm sure viewers are very excited to learn about Mumbai and its hidden gems.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's start with getting to Mumbai. Are there any airports nearby, and how far would it be from the city center?
Okay. So basically, Mumbai is a commercial capital.
Mm-hmm.
Airport, which is called as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Airport. I know it's a very big name, but currently the city is now upgrading in the sense there's a lot of infrastructure being made. So
Mm-hmm.
we are on the talk. I mean, there's in the coming years we are also going to have a new airport, but the one that is functional is your domestic and your international airport. It is one only. Now, of course, you have to check through which airline you're coming, and that airline tells you that Terminal 1 or Terminal 2 is where you're going to enter into the city. So it's technically one airport, but two different exits. So, and then that's technically your, can I say, a little bit of above your center of Mumbai, the airport is.
Okay.
So, most of your highlights, most of your places to see in Mumbai are normally in the southern part of the city. So, it's a drive. Now, see, we are 23 million people. There is traffic every day at every time. But on a lesser traffic time, it takes you approximately an hour's drive. But if there is traffic, then during peak hours, we normally recommend that leave 2 hours prior. But of course, the city is so amazing that it's accessible through your railway station, and then you have public transports like your
Mhm.
taxis and Uber service. And of course, now, I mean, tourism is such an important thing in the city. So if you tie up, if you have booked your tour through a travel agent, the travel agent's responsibility is to pick you up and drop you to the hotel and vice versa.
Mhm.
So there will always be a car at your service that will pick you up and take you to the hotel and
Okay, so you mentioned some ways to get into the city from the airport. What would you say is the most affordable way that travelers can take?
if you are a foreign traveler coming to the city, the rate of exchange, like for example, $1 is about 80 to 83 rupees.
Mhm.
And it is convenient for a foreigner to take these forms of transport, which would be faster and easier.
I
So, for example, that would be like, let's say, Uber. Uber now works through the convenience of an app. There are taxis that run on meter. This is the only city that runs on meter.
Mhm.
So there are taxis that run on meter. Sometimes, the taxi drivers see, oh, you're a foreigner, and they will try and act a little smart. So they'll fix the rate with you. Or they will, if you tell them that, no, I would like to go by meter, and if he agrees, then he'll take you by meter.
I
So
see.
even though roughly, if you do take a taxi or an Uber from your airport to south of Mumbai, should be nothing around 300, 400 rupees.
Okay, yeah. And for other options, like maybe a bus, or is there a train also?
Bus I wouldn't recommend. Like public
Oh,
transport in terms of bus, I wouldn't recommend because it's difficult to carry your luggage in the bus and then move
yeah.
around. But apparently there are other services also. For example, what happens here is there are many of these travelers who end up coming tie up with a travel agency and come. So the travel agency takes care of their transportation. There are metros being done up now. So
Mhm.
the metros should be operational in the coming 2, 3 years or so. Then things, of course, will get very convenient. The fastest mode of transport is the train. But the train station is still further ahead. I mean, it's not very close by, it's not well connected. You need to hop onto a public transport like your auto rickshaws, which are tuk-tuks, and then
Mhm.
you go towards the railway station.
Okay.
So, conveniently, if you want to move around, I would recommend a taxi or an Uber service from the airport to wherever you want to go.
All right. Also, you mentioned the tuk-tuk as well. How do travelers maybe flag one down or reserve one?
Okay, so now in the city, tuk-tuks are not permitted towards the south of Mumbai.
Mm.
They are only allowed to the central part of Mumbai, which we call as Bandra. So you can hop onto a tuk-tuk, very convenient, and they also run as per meter. And you can hop onto a tuk-tuk and you can go to various destinations of the city. So wherever you are, at least in the central or northern part of the city. But if
Mhm.
you want to go to the actual tourist places, the tuk-tuks will take you only up to a certain point, and then you switch to a cab.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really helpful thing to know. Just in case our travelers are in the city and they might not know that there's certain points where the tuk-tuks can't go. So for these forms of transportation, maybe for the cabs or any other modes, are there any travel passes or cards that tourists should avail of?
So technically, transportation is not very expensive. Even if you, I mean, there are no passes as such, but there is service of buying the tickets online or through the phone.
Okay, yeah.
If you are planning to do a long distance journey through the trains, then we recommend that you pre-book the tickets
Mm.
and do it through the rightful sources. Like either do it through a travel agent who will assist you, or if you are smart enough and you can understand, I mean, there is only one railway connection for long distance journey, that is the Indian Railway tourism and catering service. So the it's an online website as well. You log into it and you check your destination and you put in all your details. But I would rather suggest that do it through an agent who will help you out in booking your long distance journeys.
Okay. How far in advance should travelers book those tickets?
So whenever there is a holiday,
Mhm.
long season, summer holidays and things like that, or school vacation time, those train tickets are not available.
Oh, I see.
So you have to book them at least 2 or 3 months in advance.
Okay.
Yeah. We also do have luxury trains,
Mm.
like your Maharaja Express and your Deccan Odyssey and all that. They are so popular that they are already booked a year in advance.
Wow.
You have to constantly check whether there is an availability.
Mm.
And they're lovely trains to go on on your ride. So we've had many tourists who have utilized this service, and it's unique and it's very different and it's very luxurious. Yeah, it's like a different thing that India has in terms of the luxury trains.
Mm. And what's the price difference between the luxury train and the normal one?
Oh, the luxury trains are very expensive. Normal ones would be like, even if I have to buy a train ticket from, let's say, traveling 30, 31 kilometers, would be like a 12 cents. Or even
Mhm.
have to buy a first class ticket, it would be like a $1.
Mhm.
It's that cheap. Luxury trains vary, let's say, your 700,000 rupees. So that varies. So the luxury trains are expensive,
Yeah.
but of course, it's like a hotel in your journey. So you don't have to book yourself a place to stay. You
Mhm.
get down at these important places and you do the local sightseeing and you come back to the train. and you have a services of there's a restaurant inside, there are rooms, there is a double bed, there are attached toilets. So it's quite nice like that.
Yeah, it seems like a unique sort of travel accommodation combination too.
Yes.
Okay. So once guests are in the city, I bet they're probably going to be really hungry and in search of, the best local foods to eat. So do you have any recommendations for what they must try in Mumbai?
Yes. So apparently, many of the guests who I have shown, they do a little study about the city before entering and what to eat, what not to eat. Can we try these delicacies? Can we try that? We as tour guides, like for example, the city of Mumbai. Mumbai is popular for street food because
Mhm.
everybody wants to move fast and everybody wants to go to a particular destination quickly. So what is a quick food that you can grab and eat? So there are a lot of these small delicacies which I will mention, but there are places where we would take the guest. One is
Mhm.
because of the hygiene factor, the safety factor, and all that thing, and of course the taste. And there are many such restaurants available. So whatever you see on the street, which we call as the street food, are also available in restaurants.
Mhm.
And of course, with so many changes coming up today, there are multiple cuisines available and multiple type, not just the Indian traditional one, but you also have the Western one as well. The city would be your vada pav or your misal pav or a chaat that we call as bhel puri, sev puri.
Mhm.
That's something that people really, really love to eat. And various nooks and corners, there are these little stalls, food stalls that sell such things. And there are specific places that we know which are good for the tourist and they are safe for the tourist and they're also tasty for the tourist because Indian food is very spicy as well.
Mhm.
And we understand the taste of the travelers when they come here. So we take them to those particular restaurants or those particular places where they can try out these foods.
Okay. And do you have maybe a favorite delicacy that's something that if you pass by on the street, you have to get because it's so delicious?
Oh, so I'm a bit of a sweet tooth. So I
Mhm.
love this particular dessert, which is called as faluda.
Mhm.
And it's in a tall cylindrical glass, and it has chia seeds and milk and an ice cream and a rose syrup in it, and it is amazing.
Mhm.
And this particular restaurant that I will always try, we are in the coastal area.
Mhm.
So we have the Arabian Sea on one side. Seafood is to die for here.
Mhm.
So, seafood here is amazing. It's cooked in different styles, of course. So, if you are looking for the typical local style, then there's a particular restaurant. My mouth is already watering when I'm answering this. So, there's a particular restaurant where there are these delicacies that you can try, and they are local fish
Mhm.
because we have the seawater, but there are options of having sweetwater fish as well. They are also available in different restaurants as well. But if you are interested in trying something like the local seafood, there are many restaurants like this. Like we have Mahesh and Ghazali, and there are many of these types that you can try your seafood.
Mhm. Yeah, it's good to know that there are so many options, especially for restaurants. What about food markets? Are those common in Mumbai?
Food market in the sense, what I would do is, so there's a particular tour that we do, which is basically called as the dawn tour. So you wake up at 5:30 in the morning and you happen to see all those people who are involved in getting our lives easy and smooth. So for example, we have the newspaper sorting. We also see the vegetable market. So the
Mhm.
vegetable market is where you actually see the fresh produce that is being brought in from the farms and they are being distributed to different vendors. And you can actually see like the different vegetables that grow locally are brought in here and it's a wholesalers market. So you can see different types of gourds, you can see fruits, you can see our the ginger, and you can there's this one separate section in the vegetable market where you can smell the coriander and the mint
Mhm.
because there's so many of them there, and that's one type. And then we have also, there's a flower market that we take you, because if you go to these areas, probably post 9:30, 10, these markets don't stay open. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want the fresh flowers or if you want the best vegetables, you get up early in the morning to buy them. And similarly, even if you go to like if there's, we also take you to the Sassoon Dock, where they bring in the fresh catch and you can see the seafood being transferred. And then apart from that, there are many other markets that are specifically known for, like the spice market that we have,
Mm-hmm.
or like these different types of markets that. So in terms of food market, there's not specific food market, but there's a like a type of food market that
I
one
see.
would go to.
Yeah. And for these markets, for the flower market, the spice market, do they have specific names, or are they just, the general markets?
So everybody in Mumbai knows the flower market is in Dadar. So
Mm.
Dadar is a main railway junction where most of your long distance trains also halt here, and your local train also halts here. And these flowers are brought in by train and they are set up on the street.
Mm.
And all your fresh flowers, and whether it's orchids and sunflower and marigold, and so you can see the street is divided into two. So one side we have florists who will buy the flowers in bulk, including not just the flowers but the fillers and the wrapping paper and the
Mhm.
ribbons and all that. And the other side is the loose flowers, where a lot of these Indian homes would take it in their house. And then you come there by 9:30, the whole road is swept clean. So you don't see any of those flower vendors and flowers on the street anymore.
Oh, I
Because by
see.
then the city wakes up and people are going to the station to go to work and many other things. So it is causing traffic. So they
Mhm.
don't want to get that disturbed. So by then they are all clear.
Okay, yeah. But it sounds like it would be a beautiful sight though to see
Oh,
the
absolutely,
flowers.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, if any viewers out there are hoping to go there, you have to wake up at 5:30 to see them. I think it's a must do, it sounds like.
And it's absolutely worth it. Then
Mhm.
by the time you come back, your appetite is ready for breakfast.
That's true. And then maybe all the restaurants are opening at that time.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So for the restaurants, is it easy to find those that serve vegan, vegetarian, or gluten-free options?
Yes, there are. So, in India, we have people who are vegetarian, non-vegetarian. There's
Mhm.
another category which we call as Jains. And now, with people coming up with their different, interest in food, you can tell I'm allergic to prawns or seafood. So they kind of will prepare that meal for you accordingly. There are a lot of vegan options. There are a lot of organic food restaurants also now, because people are becoming healthier. People also think in those ways. So there are lots of options for you as well.
I see. That's good to know. I'm sure a lot of our travelers maybe have specific diets that they want to, keep to. So what about travelers who maybe are coming with children or with their pets? Will they have a lot of options for restaurants that welcome kids and pets?
There are now a lot of restaurants that are kid friendly and pet friendly.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot, in the sense, they're not all of it.
Okay.
So you will have to either check with your guide or just call up the restaurant before you arrive that you have a pet or you have a child. And most at all of them do have, I mean, it's kid friendly, but pet friendly, very, there are a few. So you need to check before you go to those restaurants. But it's not that there are none. So there are options, but you need to check before you approach those restaurants.
All right. And if I know you mentioned that there's a lot of street food already, but in case maybe travelers need to pick up some essentials like a hand sanitizer or bottled water, are there any convenience stores that they can go to?
Yes. So there are many convenience stores here where you can pick up a bottle of water and
Mhm.
sanitizers. They're probably maybe the third or the fifth shop or the seventh shop on the particular lane that you are in. So,
Mhm.
um, or you go to a pharmacy or you go to a chemist, there also you will get an option of picking up water or you'll get an option of, so it's very convenient as such. It's
Mhm.
easier. And because Mumbai city is so large in context to people and population and everything else, there are multiple shops everywhere else. So you are never at a place where you won't find shops at all. You
Mhm.
are never at a place where you won't find nobody there. There's always people around and there's transportation easily available. There are shops that are easily open. So, however, the shops open tentatively by 10:30, 11,
Mhm.
and again they'll shut tentatively by again 9:30, 10. Sundays is mostly the day when most of the shops are shut.
Oh, I
Um,
yeah.
and if it's a weekend, if it's like a Saturday, you might see many restaurants open very late in the night, so they'll be open till either 12:30, 1:30 or so, but not everywhere.
Mhm. Okay, so for the convenience stores, are there any particular ones that are popular in Mumbai or that you would recommend travelers visit?
No, so there are many general as
Mhm.
such. There's
All right.
nothing specific. Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about bottled water, but I think an important question or an important piece of information that travelers usually watch out for as well is whether the tap water is safe to drink.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No, 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 no. I wouldn't recommend at all. So
Okay.
we don't also drink from the tap.
Mhm.
So please go ahead and buy a bottle of water that's much safer than
Mhm.
drinking water from the tap. Whether it's a five-star hotel or every restaurant does provide you with a bottle of water. And
Mhm.
every nook and corner, you can buy yourself a bottle of water, and they are very cheap. So they will be maximum 20 rupees or so. So that's about, I'm just roughly calculating, say about 24 cents or I don't know, 12 cents, 15 cents, something like that. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a very important fact. Okay, so for these restaurants, especially for the more popular ones that get more visitors, should travelers book reservations in advance?
So normally, if you are here in the weekend, whether it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whether it's a holiday, whether it's international or national, these popular restaurants are always booked.
Mhm.
So if you're staying in a hotel, you can ask the hotel concierge to make a reservation for you at any of the particular restaurants that you're really looking forward to. So, if you heard of a particular restaurant or somebody has recommended that you must visit this restaurant, the food is very nice and it's very popular too, they go booked. So, try and make an advance. Probably be easier to get a table, but I would suggest that still don't take your chance if it's a popular restaurant. Try and get your reservation done well in advance.
Okay. Do you have a recommended period for how many days or how many weeks in advance they should try to book it?
So, for example, even if you're in the city, say for 3 or 4 days, and you want to try out these particular restaurants, try calling them 24 to 48 hours prior,
Mhm. Okay.
at least. And or if probably, I mean, you can just, there are contact numbers and details available on the website, or even if you do a search, you can make a reservation online as well.
Mhm. All right. Okay, so let's talk a little about the healthcare facilities that are available for travelers. So, just in case they have an emergency or maybe they get sick, what kind of hospitals, clinics are available to them?
Okay, so the city or the country as such is gaining a lot of popularity in terms of what we call as the medical tourism.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because we have many good hospitals, and of course, we've got very renowned doctors. Many of the, I mean, even like, for example, even if you're in the southern part of Mumbai and where all the tourist places are, there are more than two or three good hospitals in and around the vicinity.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, second thing is that if you have fallen sick and if you're in a hotel, the hotel always has a doctor on call. So you can inform the hotel, and the hotel will call a doctor, and that doctor will come and take care of you and do the checkup and whatever. In case you've met with an accident or in case something has gone severely wrong and you need to be hospitalized, if you're at a hotel, every hotel will have the contact number of the nearby good hospitals,
Mhm.
and they will help you and of course take you straight to the hospital itself. So there are good hospitals here. There are good doctors here. I once had a guest whose daughter had a mosquito bite on the cheek,
Mhm.
and she had a little small patch of redness, and she was coming from Kerala, and so she wanted to meet a dermatologist. So there were dermatologists that I took her to, and the dermatologist saw and gave her the treatment, and she called me back the next day saying that her daughter's much better. So there are, of course, good doctors also. And normally, if you have a service of a guide, the guide will take you to those places. Or if you're at the hotel, you normally ask the hotel concierge to help you out, and they will recommend you to different doctors or clinics and whatever.
Mhm. Well, the concept of medical tourism is really interesting. I wasn't aware that that was becoming a more popular thing. Yeah. So, are there any hospitals in particular that draw a lot of people in?
Not specifically in Mumbai, but there are hospitals in Hyderabad. Of course, there are hospitals in Mumbai as well,
Mm.
like the Saifi Hospital and the Bombay Hospital. There are many of these hospitals. And the reason that India benefits out of it is because of the rate of exchange. And
Mm.
also with the fact that we have good hospitals, they are very good services. The doctors are top notch, and there are, advanced technologies. Such hospitals in India, not just specifically concentrating for Mumbai, but there are many such hospitals in India that are highlighting medical tourism. And it
Mm.
is one such topic today. So this is just a general, this is just talking through my experience. I had met one guest here. She had come from South Africa and we were taking her to different places. And she told me, I had a knee operation and the knee operation didn't turn successful.
Mm.
And somebody recommended that, why don't you come to India? And she came to India and she did her knee operation. And she told me, surprisingly, I spent less than half of what I spent in my own country. And I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
So it's just, this is these conversations you end up listening or you end up understanding when you have tourists who come and tell you so many things.
Yeah. That sounds like a great experience for them.
Exactly. So that's something that is now, it's not picked up, but it has been going on since many years. And it's a concept that has been successful in the country.
So what about for more maybe minor medical issues if they just need a painkiller or uh maybe flu medicine? Are there pharmacies that they can go to where they don't need prescriptions or do they need them all the time?
No, so there are pharmacies. Again, every nook and corner. So if they have fallen sick and they need like a medicine or so, and they know what kind of medicine that they need, then that is available. It's not needed for you to have a prescription.
Mm.
Uh, but if you think that it's an issue, like it's something that you cannot self medicate yourself, then there are doctors too. And here you can visit a doctor on that same very day. Maybe you will have to wait a while or take an appointment. But on that particular day, the doctor will pay you a visit or will see
Mm.
you and understand what your requirement is and understand your ailment and give you a prescription. You don't have to wait for days and months. So there is an advantage of that. So normally, if it's a case where you need to visit a doctor, there are lots of these doctors also. There are different clinics as well that you can visit, and the doctor will meet you at that very day. But however, will take a while. In the sense, it may not be immediate, but you might have to wait for an hour or something like that.
Okay, that's good to know. You can see doctors within the day, though. So I'm from the Philippines, so that's not always the case here. Yeah.
I believe so. So, that this India is so convenient to live in.
Mhm.
We are always, how do we make things simple? How do we make our lives simple? And that's how there are so many, small things that make it easier for us. Like
Mhm.
visiting a doctor or, you wanting something immediately that's possible. So, yeah.
Okay. Also, another maybe essential that travelers are looking out for is how they can stay connected, particularly through text or calls. So, when a traveler arrives in Mumbai, would you recommend that they pick up a local SIM card?
Not necessary.
Mhm.
It's not needed, but if you want to, you can go ahead with it. Today, because we have a lot of internet service and Wi-Fi, it is convenient for us to be in touch through WhatsApp, and many of us do even have an iPhone. So I believe the iMessenger is also free. So it's not really necessary for you to pick up a local SIM. But even if you are at a nowadays, wherever you may be, so even if you're at a hotel or a restaurant, so it's not necessary. But of course, if you have your own local number, and like many times when I get in touch with my guests, I contact them in their own local number itself. When I have regular guests, like somebody who visits India more than once or twice, they do have an Indian SIM. So I do have their Indian number and we get in touch.
Okay. If someone wants to pick up a local SIM card, where would be the best place for that?
Well, there are many services available.
Mhm.
So this particular brand, which is called as Airtel, you will see Airtel boards or Airtel counters again every 10-15 shops away.
Mhm.
You visit the store, you visit those places, and you give your identity proof and the cost, which should hardly cost you anything. And you get your number immediately activated at that very moment.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
your ID proof is very important.
I
So,
see.
copy of your ID proof has to be submitted.
So when travelers pick up those SIM cards, or maybe when they go to a restaurant and buy a meal, is it better for them to use cash, or is credit card widely accepted?
Both the options are accepted here.
Mhm.
The alternative option of making a payment is through Google Pay, which is so convenient after COVID that you do not have the headache of change, that I have to give you 2 rupees and 3 rupees. Those change, where do you get?
Mhm.
So the Google Pay today is available to every nook and corner, including the street vendors. So it is so convenient for people to make the payment and the transaction that you don't have to worry about change. However, if you make payment through card, of course, many stores and restaurants, if you go to shop, if you go to the malls, they do accept your card. Cash is also accepted. Cash is never, I mean, cash is your second best thing after the Google Pay. However, in case you do want to make a payment through your foreign currency, there may be a possibility that everybody may not accept the foreign currency. But
Mhm.
if you are in a tourist place, like for example, if you're in South Bombay, there are street vendors who will also accept foreign currency. They will accept your foreign currency. And of course, if you have the option of Google Pay, that is also accepted. And card is not accepted in terms of your street shopping. They
Mhm.
don't have the machine, but they will have the QR code for you to make a transaction,
Mm,
but not the machine.
I see. So in case travelers want to exchange their money, so they don't have to use their foreign currency, where is the best place where they can get a good exchange rate for their money?
See, in an emergency context, your hotel will also exchange the money for you, but that would be at a higher price. When you are closer to any tourist spots, there are many foreign exchange bureaus in and around
Mhm.
that will help you exchange, which will give you a better price. Your third option is travel agencies which have forex counters inside. For example, like Thomas Cook.
Mhm.
So if you happen to pass by any of these travel companies, they do have a foreign exchange counter which they will help you out as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good to know. So I also have a few questions about, just general travel information. So for example, are there any medications or items that travelers should avoid bringing into India or into Mumbai?
So, for example, I mean, this is in India as general. You can't bring anything that is animal related.
I
So,
see.
items like feather, ivory, antiques, gold coins, I mean, your gold bars, these are not accepted. So, they may be confiscated as well. If you have a lot of medicines, you have to keep your prescription ready
Mm.
to show at the airport that, look, I have this ailment and this is my medicine and this is what it is. So these are things that are not permitted for you to bring in. Electronic cigarettes, they are
Oh,
not permitted. So you cannot bring them as well.
yeah, I think that's an important thing to note as well. Okay. So what about maybe the safety of Mumbai? Would you say that it's safe for solo travelers or female travelers?
Oh, it's a very safe city. And see, in the sense when I say it is safe, it does not mean that there's no robbery happening or no crime happens. It does happen, but me as a woman, when I also travel late in the night, I find traffic. We are 23 million people. We are working very hard. So because we work based on the multinational company timings, we end up going home late.
Mm-hmm.
So, the thought process of individuals, the locals here is like, I need to go home, I want to rest, I want to just chill. So that's how it is. But people are very friendly here, they are very helpful, and they love foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, in like, every guest I have got in the city, I have told them, listen, you are like a film star in my country, in my city. Everybody's going to ask you one photograph, please, one photograph, please. So I leave it to them. I tell them that it is your choice, that if you would want to take pictures with them. And of course, if you are not comfortable, you can straight away say no. But as such, like a solo traveler, I've had many solo travelers also who have shown around the city, and I've taken them through the local way in the sense I've taken them to the railway station. We've hopped onto a train. We went to south of Mumbai. I showed them around the city. I took them to a local market. So we did it like how a local person would commute. And I feel like I can move around freely here without anybody being with me. I said, yeah, that's how the city is. It's very comfortable and you don't feel unsafe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with that though, are there any common scams that tourists should be on the lookout for so just so they can stay safe?
Yeah. So whenever you are, let's say for example, if you're a single traveler, whether
Mhm.
a male or a female, what I have noticed a lot is, see, there's a reason which I also constantly tell my guests is to do it through the right channel when you come to the city. Many a times, the guests think on the context that let me go to the city and I will figure out myself. And what ends up happening is that there are a lot of these stouts who are waiting for scamming you, you
Mhm.
know, and they will come and tell you things like, I'll show you the film city in 700 rupees, and then the later thing that they might have extorted money out of you. But there is no proof of that person. So, for example, when I'm a licensed guide, I have my own license through the central government of India. So, plus the Maharashtra Tourism Board also gives me another recognition as well. So, when the guests come to India, they're very sweet and they're very polite and they don't want to say no to anybody. There's a lot of things that they feel like, when the beggars come and ask for money or something like that, they feel very, like it's a feeling that they feel that, oh, I'm feeling bad, so let me just give them some money. The
Mhm.
minute they would give them some money, there are 10 more coming from different angles and again asking for money. So I'm not saying it's a very good thought, but again there are many centers where you can also make the donation, or you can always give something or the other. So if you're doing it through a guide, the guide will take you to the right source. When you're on your own, there are times where I've seen that a lot of these local people, will speak in broken English and see to it that you hire their service. My recommendation is obviously internet is your world. You go to the internet, you can Google services of a travel agency or its source to be safe. If you don't want to go, if you want to venture out on your own, that is also possible.
Mm. Yeah. I'm sure that our travelers will appreciate that
You
information as yeah. So let's also talk about maybe the attractions that Mumbai has to offer. I see that you have something in your background. Could you show us?
So this is the Bombay Municipal Corporation. It was really a good day. So this image actually looks like taken by a professional photographer. Like these Victorian buildings, there are many in the southern part of the city. So this is a small little village which is in the south of Mumbai called the Kotachiwadi. So Mumbai was original inhabitants were the Koli folks, the fishing community, and then apart from that, we also had the Portuguese. So there are very few of these Portuguese villages, and one of that very small is the Kotachi Wadi that you see. So
Mhm.
these beautiful houses still today. So they have one or two of them have converted also as a hotel and very beautifully well kept. This is the famous Gateway of India and the Taj Hotel. Very iconic. So when you Google Mumbai, this is the first thing that you will see.
I see.
This is very iconic. The Gateway of India this year will celebrate 100 years, and the Taj Hotel's history is, I mean, one to listen and I mean, it's one of the most awe and the most beautiful buildings that we have.
Mhm.
So normally when the guests come, we take them to this area and they happen to see the hotel and the gateway. This is the yacht club that the British had once used as a yacht club. Today it belongs to the government of India. And these boats that you see, the ferry boats that you see, they take you to Elephanta Islands. So that's another journey that you have. This is the mill.
Mhm.
So when the British took over and built the textile mills here, there were various other mills as well. And this is the accommodation. So the mill workers would live in such houses, and these houses were very beautiful. Today, unfortunately, none of the mills are operational. There's
Mhm.
another house that we have. This is the Victoria Terminus. This is one part of the railway station. This is the Gateway of India.
Mhm.
So Mumbai has a lot of Art Deco structures,
Mhm.
and this is one of the Art Deco buildings called as Dhanraj Mahal, which was supposed to be once upon a time a palace for a princess, and but today it's a commercial center. And another building which is the police Maharashtra Police headquarters. This is the Prince of Wales Museum. It's a beautiful museum that we have, and it's got a lot of things. It's got like miniature paintings, archaeological findings. This is the first educational institution built called the Elphinstone College. Again, another Victorian structure very close by. Like these are plenty of these, Victorian buildings around the flora fauna. The first Anglican church, it's very well done up. Around the cathedral, these are another heritage buildings around. So we have the town hall, we have the general post office. This is the other side of the Victoria Terminus. Now we have these red buses, but earlier we had the ones that were really very old. So
Mhm.
on I think 13th or 15th September last year, the old red buses that the British had introduced for us, that was the last day. And now these red buses are all air conditioned.
Oh,
Black and yellow vehicles that you see, these are our local taxis.
oh, I see.
This is inside the railway station. So, see, this is actually the ticket counter. But the ticket counter itself looks like a cathedral, and this is the architecture inside the ticket counter.
Yeah, it is all
And
very intricate and beautiful.
so, this is our famous Dabbawala.
Mm.
Mumbai, like I mentioned, the Taj Hotel, the Gateway of India, and another thing that is very iconic or synonym to the city is the Dabbawalas. Who are they? They are tiffin delivery men. They deliver our lunch boxes.
Mhm.
And very, very interesting are these tiffin delivery men. There are 5,000 men who deliver 200,000 boxes every day, and they do not make a single mistake. They are so accurate and so spot on. And they're very, so if you look at them, when you interact with them, they're very down to earth. There's a system that they follow. They're very, very economical. They charge around $3 to $4 per person at the end of the month. They don't work on Sundays because offices are shut on Sundays. And they are very, very interesting. And there's a particular time that I need to make you meet them. So
Mhm.
if you say on a Sunday, can we meet them? That's not possible. Or if you say, can I meet them at 1 o'clock? That's not possible. So there is a particular time that I have to bring you at a particular spot to make you meet these different delivery men. So yeah, I guess. Oh, and this is the spice market.
Mhm.
So I've had many guests who have brought to the spice market and they've loved it. And also with the fact that they have coughed and sneezed because of a lovely spice on the street. So variety of Indian spices you can see that they are roasting and they are grinding and you want to add this and you roast them and you grind them and you give it to us. And they want to take it home to make their fish, chicken and vegetable.
Mhm.
And the smell and the fragrance of the spice is so strong that the guests have, I mean, ended up sneezing, coughing, but they've loved it. So it's a beautiful market, it's a beautiful street where you can see, and then, sometimes these guys also welcome you to stir the spices on the stove that they have kept. Yeah, this is the gateway of India, and you can see the people that, I mean, it's not just foreigners who come to see the gateway of India, but even people from different parts of India come to see because it's very iconic again.
Mhm.
And this is the beautiful marine drive that we have. So it's a curve, which is actually a man made curve. So this is all reclamation land.
Mhm.
And one end of the curve is where we have the beach. And this is a place where people come for their morning walks and evening walks. We have two cricket stadiums here. On winters, we have vintage car rallies on the street because it's, next to it is Arabian Sea.
Mhm.
This is the famous Victoria Terminus, the
So for
railway station.
yeah, for these attractions, Sukanya, would you say that they're family friendly or safe for travelers with children?
Yes, they are. But if you are looking for something very specific to children friendly, or I mean, there was once upon a time an aquarium that is not functional now, it's
Mhm.
under repair. There are gardens and parks, however, where children can spend some time and enjoy. So there's a beautiful shoe house where children can go up, and it's based on a nursery rhyme and many of these other places. So, in terms of just looking specific for children activity, there
Mhm.
are very few. But if you are looking for doing things, so see, apart from these iconic things, Mumbai is a city which has got experiences. So,
Mhm.
like from your tiffin delivery men or to going to a market, these are things that you are experiencing, not just
Mhm.
like looking at it, but they're also experiencing or taking a train ride, for example. For them it's like an adventure tourism that we are sitting in a train, like that. But yeah, so there are things for everybody. It's the city has things for everybody, bits and pieces for everybody. But for example, if you are specifically looking for handicap friendly, it's not, I mean, I would rather say there is less chances. But
Mhm.
yeah, there are options for people who are on a wheelchair. You can just do a panoramic tour. You can sit in the vehicle and we take you to all these places and we show you around. So you can just do a panoramic tour or something like that. But having a closer view of all this is a little difficult.
I see. Oh, what about for senior citizens? Would they also be able to enjoy these activities?
For senior citizens, they can enjoy these activities. I've got, I mean, many a times it's not too much of walking, but there
Mhm.
are places where if I feel that there is a lot of walking to be done, then I always tell my guests that look, there is so much of walking to be done. Are you okay with it?
Mhm.
And I've got guests who are very excited and enthusiastic about all these places, so they are up for it.
Oh, all right. So you tried a lot of attractions. So I'm curious to know if they require passes or tickets and if those need to be booked in advance since
So
they're
the only
popular.
place you're paying money is your
Mhm.
museums.
I see.
So Mahatma Gandhi Museum is like really, really very, I mean, you can rather make a donation than buying a ticket. They
Mhm.
welcome donations there. And the Prince of Wales Museum is about 700 rupees per person, and it comes with an audio guided tour as well. The rest of it is all free. You don't have to pay to see the train station, or you don't have to pay to see the Gateway of India. The places where you end up paying would be your restaurants to eat your meal,
Mm.
and any other thing that you need, like for example, a bottle of water or any other like a sweet or something like that. There is also a place which is called as the Elephanta Islands. To go to the island, you have to take a ferry ride. So
Mm.
you have a ferry ride which you pay around 260 rupees, which is your going and coming ferry ride. And then there is an island entry fee over there, and there's a toy train ride as well. So, however, the accessibility to go to the Elephanta Islands has been, I mean, is stopped during monsoons. So,
Mhm.
because we have very rough waves here, so nothing happens, no sea activity happens during that time. But ferry boats are all not available. So, even if you're determined to go to the Elephanta Islands, it's not possible.
Okay, yeah. So should you book the tickets for the Elephant Island beforehand, or is it better on the day?
You can get the ticket on the spot there
Mm.
itself.
Okay. So can you also recommend some activities that maybe travelers who want more adventurous things to do or who are looking for a thrill, what would they want to experience?
Thrill, like adventure activities, as
Yeah.
such, this is not a city.
Oh, I see.
But the excitement in terms of, like, for example, traveling during the peak hours is something that, people get really excited.
Hmm.
But in terms of your adventure sports and all, this is not the city too.
I
Mumbai
see.
city, there aren't. But there are many other places in India that you can do your adventure activities. Like, for example, in Kashmir, there's a Zanskar Valley where you can go for river rafting.
Mhm.
Rishikesh is your adventure destination, so there are lots of adventure activities available there. Similarly, if you go to Goa, there are again adventure activities in Goa as well, water adventure. If you are in a city like Jaipur, there are land adventure activities to do. So there are a lot of other things, but in rush here is, I mean, nothing that I can say.
Mhm. Okay. So what about for the museums, maybe the governmental buildings? Are there any dress codes that travelers should adhere to while they're sightseeing?
The only time that you should be, or even if you have a guide with you, two things is one, I would recommend is when you're visiting a temple, you
Mhm.
have to dress appropriately. So many a times when we do a tour, there is always a visit. So in a normal local tour, we give you a variety of options. Like we show you a museum, we show you a temple, we show you a heritage building, we take you back to history, we take you to a garden and different things. So during that time, I would suggest that please wear appropriate clothes. So the temple can be, it can be a temple, it can be a mosque, it can be a Jain temple. So, like for example, the Haji Ali Mosque or the Haji Ali Dargah, you have to cover your head. So
Mhm.
I will always tell the guests, please carry a scarf if needed, and you have to wear appropriate clothes again. So shorts and things like that would not be allowed. And even similarly, the same thing goes even for a Jain temple that we will take you around. And otherwise, in other areas, there is no dress code required.
Okay. So now that we've seen a lot of these attractions, I'm sure travelers would also want to bring something home with them so that, they have something to remember their trip to Mumbai with. So are there any souvenirs that you would recommend they pick up, maybe aside from the spices?
Oh, there are plenty of things. For example, of course, you have the regular things like your magnets and your bags and your shoes and your clothes. So you get a lot of other items. You can get things like leather items. There's a leather market here. So leather is another interesting thing that you can pick up. Then there are scarves, and then there are fabrics, there are clothes. So there are lots of things that is available easily. And specific as such is nothing specific, but you get a mix of a lot of things that you can get anywhere else in India as well.
Okay. Where are the best places to find these souvenirs? Are there any specific markets or stores?
So, in terms of your souvenirs, like your magnets or your postcards or things like that, so very close to the Taj Hotel that I showed you, there's a street which is called Colaba Causeway. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a whole lane of street shopping available. So you get right from clothes to souvenirs to gift items, and all that is available on that street. So you'll get everything there.
Okay.
So normally, when we do bring guests there, there is when the guest does say that, look, I need to pick up a souvenir or so, we take them to that lane.
And when guests are shopping around India or Mumbai in particular, would you recommend that they try to negotiate the prices, or is that not common practice?
All right. So when you're doing street shopping, I would definitely recommend going ahead and negotiating. You should get a best price of what you want. Normally, when you are in a store, it's always a fixed price.
Mhm.
So also, I've got guests, who's asked me before they ask, like before they start picking up things, can I negotiate here, or can I ask for a lesser price here? And I would say yes, you can. And so there are places and there are street shopping. Definitely, you can go ahead and negotiate. Stores, of course, it's always a fixed price. There are other places like, for example, your government shops and something that you've bought in a larger quantity. So if you have bulk items or if you've got more items, they do give you a lesser price if you ask for.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any tips for bargaining or haggling?
So normally, if you are bargaining, they will not give you at a 50% less, but they will give it to you at a three-fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Second recommendation is, if you are just specifically coming to shop, see to it that you are one of the first shoppers. So there is something that many of the shoppers follow, which is the term used locally is called as boni. So basically means that my first customer goes happy, that means the rest of my day is happy. So they will give it to you at a price that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to specifically come for that, then you should try and try to be as early to pick up good things. And if you are like, for example, if you have an item which is 500 rupees, you can't start with. You can start with 250. He will flatly refuse, but
Mm-hmm.
you can. He will give it to you at a 350, 400 rupees at least.
Mm-hmm. And for arriving first or arriving early, around what time would that usually be?
Around 10:30, 11.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And I also have another thing to tell my guests is that, when you come to a market, it's a classic example of organized chaos. So when you are coming here in afternoon or in the middle of the day or something like that, you will find a lot of people. So just like be prepared. That's the only thing.
All right. Yeah, that's a great tip. So since there's so much to do in Mumbai and a lot of the attractions require maybe a bit of walking, what would you say is the best time to travel based on the weather?
Okay, so currently it's technically supposed to be our monsoon time now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 4 months of winter, 4 months of summer, and 4 months of monsoon. So monsoon starts somewhere between mid-June, July, August, September. Around October is the retreating monsoon, and then till November the heat stays. Then after November is your winter time. November, December, Jan, Feb to early March is the best time to travel when you come to India.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are coming to the city of Mumbai, we never wear sweaters here, but it's quite pleasant to move around. And you can walk around and you can, just admire the buildings or look at the market or things like that. Summers get really hot. So it's very hot here, and plus, because we're closer to the Arabian Sea, the humidity is also very high. So summers are really hot here. Of course, now we see a lot of weather changes. July is technically supposed to be the month where there is heavy monsoons. But right now it's sunny outside. Normally people would try to come because they get the best hotel deals.
Mhm.
because this is the off-season time for people to enter into the city. So they sometimes may get the best hotel deals or they may get the best rates of everything. So people do try and utilize. So it's not that this it's not possible to do the sightseeing. It is definitely possible to do the sightseeing at that time.
Mhm.
And but it's just that it's going to get now technically it's hot for us because it hasn't rained very well though.
Mhm.
Otherwise, even if it continuously rains, also there's a possibility for you to see all these places, tourist places.
I see. And what are the essentials that travelers should bring with them just so, they're prepared for the weather or maybe other things that they might encounter while sightseeing?
Okay, so sunscreen is a must.
Mm.
Sunscreen is something that we'll require throughout. If you're coming in monsoon, of course, you need umbrella, which is good, and otherwise a wind cheater is also. When you are coming in winter or summer, a cap, your sunscreen, your sunglasses, and comfortable walking shoes. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that we've got the best of roads, but you should wear shoes that are comfortable for you to walk around. If you're on your own, you can carry a bottle and you can fill it up at the hotel or restaurant or wherever. So bottle of water is very important because you end up feeling thirsty or because of the heat and everything else. And yeah, these are the essential items that you can carry while you're traveling here.
So what about how long should travelers stay in the city so they can, experience fully everything that it has to offer?
So 3 or 4 days is good to be in the city.
Mhm.
3 to 4 days is perfect for you. You can also see things at leisure. You can also move around, and there's nothing that quickly you just happen to see all your sightseeing. So it is perfect time for 3 or 4 days for you to spend your day here.
Okay. So I just
Okay.
have a few questions about the neighborhoods and what people can see there. So what would you say is the best place to stay for families or couples? Is there a particular neighborhood that would suit them better?
So normally I would recommend that looking for an accommodation or place to stay would be at the southern part of the city.
Mhm.
If you have already done the southern part of the city, the second best place would be Bandra. Bandra is your central part of the city. So there are nice cafes and there are nice places to eat and there are things to do. So Bandra is another place that and it's more younger crowd and it's quite lively also. It's got its own charm on its own.
Mhm.
So Bandra is another place that one can look for a place to, whether it's a hotel or it's an Airbnb or whether there are alternative options available that you can do in Bandra.
Okay. And what are the neighborhoods that have the best views or the best views of the scenery in Mumbai?
So the best scenery, like I showed you, there is the Marine Drive. There are plenty of hotels on the Marine Drive as well.
Mhm.
So Marine Drive has not just the 5 star, but it also has a 4 star category of hotels there too. 4 and a 3 star category of hotels there too. So it gives you the best view. So it gives you the view of the Queen's Necklace. There are other hotels, which is like the Gateway of India. So opposite the Gateway of India, we have the famous Taj Hotel. So that's iconic hotel, it's like
Mhm.
you've stayed in the hotel. That's like how important it is here. And that beautiful building also has like a window where you can see all the famous personalities who have also stayed there.
Mhm.
That's another one very beautiful building as well. And because we're a business hub, there are many of these hotels that are in Bandra, which makes it convenient for you to go towards the airport or go to. It's like your center point. So maybe one day from Bandra you can come to the south of Mumbai, do your South Mumbai sightseeing, and proceed to wherever
Mhm.
you want to be. So there are hotels which are also where may or may be closer to your workspace. So there are hotels spread around in the city, but it's not necessarily that will give you a view, but it will give you comfort because there are many good hotels. The Taj properties are everywhere. The Westin, Marriott's, they're all in different parts of the city. So they are, and the Indian services are amazing, and the customer will always feel like a king here. So there are very good hotels and very good services in the city.
Okay. So I'm also curious to know if there are any annual events or festivities that tourists should make the time to see while they're in Mumbai.
There are many festivals we celebrate because we are secular. We have festivals for all religions here. And right from now, very soon, we will have the fishing community will celebrate the Nariyal Purnima, which is a sight to see. Then we have the festival of colors. We have Diwali, where you will find, every window is lit up and every entrance of the house is decorated with, colored powder, and then we have Christmas, of course. And I mean, every festival here is unique, and every festival represents every religion, but we don't make it specific. I mean,
Mhm.
we celebrate with everybody. So, everybody is invited to everybody's home. People exchange gifts, new clothes are bought. So, there are plenty of festivals. So, try and look when you come to the city at a particular time, try and look at what if there are any festivals coming up.
Mhm.
And then you can probably, ask that how can I participate or what are the things that can be done here. And people will guide you around.
Okay, so I'm sure our travelers have so much to look forward to already in Mumbai, and they have a lot of great attraction recommendations as well from you. And just one more question to round out the conversation. Is tipping considered a norm in India? Is it something you would recommend travelers do?
Yes, I mean, it's not mandatory,
Mm-hmm.
but for someone, you are basically telling that person that your job is very well done. And the percentage or the amount depends completely upon you. So there is no fact that, like you just have to pay so much. Many a times when you look at a restaurant bill, there are service charges that are already mentioned. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's something called the service charge that has already been mentioned, then you don't need to tip because it's already included. And however, services of the driver or anybody else, you can tip, but it is completely based on you.
Mhm. Okay. So thank you so much for answering all our questions, Sukanya. And it's very clear that you have all the information that there is to know about Mumbai. And, if I were going to the city, I definitely refer to your list of attractions to see.
Bianca, you're most welcome to come to Mumbai, and I'll be very happy to show you around.
Yeah, I would love it as well. Hopefully soon.
Done.
Okay. Bye. Thanks, Kanya. It was great talking to you.
Likewise, take care.